Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Mr. Sensible. Today we're going to have a look at an old friend of ours, Level Earth Observer. And as usual, he's going to make himself look like a complete idiot. A whole bunch of people who are not idiots are my wonderful patrons. With massive thanks to all my patrons, including new patrons Alice Vangstrom, John Roswell, TechBlog, Pyro Kitty Cat, Claire Johnson, Mr. Victory and Brian A. Shannon, and my latest patrons Pi Parrot, Gunnar Olsen, Sean White and Mark Edwards. Thank you all so very much. So Level Earth Observer thinks that he can smash and debunk a clip of film from NASA which is going to absolutely trash the whole NASA Mars shot project. Let's see how he does. But Level Earth Observer, I don't hold out any hope whatsoever that you're going to succeed. Roll VT.
Today we're going to annihilate the whole Mars project, which is supposedly happening this year in July, I believe.
Oh goody. You're setting yourself up for a nice big fat fail. Carry on.
We're going to view their supposed successful test flight, where they use their NASA helicopter technology in near vacuum conditions, simulating the conditions on Mars or around Mars that this supposed helicopter or NASA are going to encounter.
So you're saying that they ran these tests, they filmed these tests failed, but they published film with them claiming they were successful. I wait with bated breath.
So let's have a look at this so-called successful test flight in near vacuum-like conditions. I'll play the footage all the way through. I'll see if you can spot it.
Okay, there's a challenge. I'll keep a very, very close eye out, Level Earth Observer, and I suggest that everyone else viewing this video does as well. We'll see if we can spot how it fails.
And then at the end, we're going to tear this to shreds.
Oh, really? Or will it be you that is torn to shreds?
For the absolute nonsense that it is. So let's have a look at NASA claiming to be able to fly in near vacuum-like conditions with a helicopter. Let's take a look and then we'll rip this to shreds.
Ooh, you're raising the stakes. You're saying again that you're going to rip this to shreds. I hope you're ready to get your butt handed to you. I'm watching, Level. I'm watching. Still can't see anything. Can anyone else see a problem with this? Because I can't. No, you've got me, Level. I can't see anything wrong with that. You are going to have to enlighten us.
Right, the blades have pretty much stopped. And surprisingly, the helicopter is still hovering.
No, it's not hovering, it's dangling. Just as it was at the very beginning. And
then when you look into it a little bit more, it's actually tethered.
Well, it's quite easy to see the tethers to each leg. Dratted CGI. Someone's going to lose their head over this.
So there's not really simulating flight in near vacuum-like conditions.
What on earth has a tether got to do with the level of vacuum? And it's not a vacuum, it's just a very, very low atmospheric pressure. The same as on Mars.
That's a blade going round whilst it's hung to a tether.
Yes, there are tethers to each leg in case it goes flying off somewhere, and a tether helping support it. And your point is?
You could even see it at the start of the video where the blade started up Nothing happened, and then the tether pulled the helicopter off its stand.
No, the tether did not pull the helicopter up, and we'll see why in a few minutes.
Now, when you look at the claims being made, they do tell you there's a tether involved.
So NASA aren't lying, NASA aren't hiding anything. Oh no, they're explaining that there's a tether, probably so flat earthers don't get all excited and moist over it.
Supposedly to simulate Mars' gravity.
There's no supposed at all about it, me old mucker. That is exactly why they're using that tether. Oh, don't start that again.
Now let's think about this.
Well, that's a good idea, because you haven't thought about it at all so far.
Is Mars' gravity pulling up, away?
No, Mars's gravity, like all gravitational forces, is pulling towards the centre of the mass, downwards.
Or would it be pulling down towards the ground?
By golly, he's got it.
So for this to be successful, you wouldn't have it tethered.
No, he hasn't got it.
You'd have rope underneath the helicopter pulling down, and you wouldn't need a tether.
Well, you do have those wires tethering the legs to stop it flying off. Your problem is the tether at the top.
You just have your helicopter take off and then apply the so-called amount of so-called gravity that it would encounter on Mars.
Bingo! But I would like to know how you propose you apply the so-called amount of so-called gravity. Please explain.
You'd apply it pulling down,
Oh my God.
just like the claims regarding gravity. Certainly not pulling it up. That's rather cunning.
I've got a plan so cunning you could put a tail on it and call it a weasel.
It's almost as if the helicopter doesn't work in near vacuum-like conditions and the tether is there just to hold it up. Again, NASA busted. They're literally a B-rated pantomime company, low budget. We've proved here their own official footage
That you really should have been shipped off on the B-Ark from Golga Frincham. You have no idea. You can't grasp the simplest of concepts. If you can't do a little bit of research, then quite frankly, you should shut up. Because every time you open your mouth, you just make yourself look like an even bigger idiot.
They are nothing but a bunch of clowns, magicians, storytellers, and sophist morons.
And now, Mr. Level Earth Observer, with the aid of some amazing Microsoft Paint graphics, I'm going to show you what a twit you are. Let's start off with a little helicopter hovering above the ground, normal Earth atmosphere, and of course, full Earth gravity. At all times, the helicopter's being pulled earthward with a force of 1 gravity. Just for this example, let's assume it's a little helicopter weighing 1 kilogram. In order to hover or fly, that helicopter has got to apply an upward force to counteract the gravity that's pulling it down. On Earth, we experience a gravitational force of 9.8 meters per second. And as our helicopter is 1 kilogram, we would require a force greater than 9.8 newtons in order to lift. And of course that force has got to be an upward force. Now of course what NASA is trying to do is simulate the conditions on Mars. Well, the first bit's nice and easy. We know that the atmosphere is a lot thinner. That's a problem because with less atmosphere it's harder to provide the upward force. Those propellers have to work much harder to provide the lift. So to mimic that, all we do is we put it in a vacuum chamber and take down the pressure till it's the same at Mars. Nice and easy. There is the other problem though. The test facility, the vacuum chamber, is here on Earth and our gravity is 1, but Mars's gravity is only 0.376 of Earth's gravity. We'll call it 0.38. Now, using your expertise in your video, you said to mimic the gravity on Mars, we should have a rope pulling down on the bottom of the helicopter. As Earth gravity is 1 and Mars gravity is 0.38 that of Earth, we need to reduce gravity by 0.62. So just how, Mr. Einstein, is having a rope at the bottom pulling down going to reduce the effect of gravity? No, the answer is to apply an upward force to counteract the downward force of gravity, to apply a force equivalent to 0.62 gravities. So we got our 1g pulling down, which is 9.8 newtons, Earth gravity. We apply a tether to our helicopter, pulling up with a force of 6 newtons. So if we deduct our 6 newton upward pull from our 9.8 newton downward pull of Earth, we end up with a net overall pull downwards of 3.8 newtons. Mars gravity. All figures slightly rounded. So yes, at the start of the test and at the end of the test, that helicopter is fully supported by that wire, that tether. But as soon as it starts to move upwards, that tether starts pulling, but it's only pulling at 0.62 gravities, about 6 newtons. It's not pulling it all up by itself, it's just partly supporting it, so that the helicopter itself is only having to generate enough force to overcome the remaining 3.8 newtons, Mars gravity. So there you are, Level Earth Observer. Feel silly now? You haven't exactly annihilated the whole Mars project. I suggest you take your video down before someone mirrors it or does a debunk too late. I hope you all enjoyed that. Look forward to seeing you all again next time. Until then, stay sensible.
Shut up and sit down.